Okay, on the white 2020, he's getting the lifters as well. It's time for a lifter change, so we're going to do our normal vacuum setup for these to put oil in the lifters. And as you can see, there's air coming out of them. This just saves a little bit of time.
Oh, that's brilliant.
All right, we're going back in with the S&S lifter cuffs and brand new lifters, blue Loctite. So we'll continue on. Okay, same thing now for the front cylinder. He's got the push rod tubes pulled. Those are S&S quickies, so we didn't have to cut these, and they'll go back in and readjust out.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
All right, for you guys that are doing this at home, these bolts right here are known to break. What you need to do is spray some penetrating lube in there and work that bolt a quarter turn at the time, back and forth, until you can step it another quarter turn. If you break that bolt, that's the crankcase. Take your time. Do not get in a hurry. All right, the front lifter cuff is in. Next will be the front push rods. Like I said, be careful with these bolts. The S&S kit comes with a new bolt for the cuff. It also comes with 4 new outer bolts and a gasket kit for front and rear. So there you go. Okay, in the previous video we spoke about the original oil pump not being the updated oil pump. I'll do a side-by-side comparison. Now this is the cam plate, so it's separate from the oil pump. But as you can see, the factory updated the oil pump with a sealing ring right here. They didn't have a sealing ring the first couple years. I think it was 17, 18, 19. I believe that's right. And I think in 20 they came out with this version of the oil pump because they were having sumping problems and everything else. Engines letting go and everything else. But anyway, if you got a 17, 18, or 19 M8, you probably have this oil pump in it. And if your bike's been doing fine, you're probably going to be okay. But if you do any kind of work inside the cam chest, just grab a new oil pump and put it in there. The labor's crossover labor if somebody's already in there doing work. So it's not, you're not specifically changing out the oil pump, so you can cross over some labor. And the S&S aluminum intake manifold is now reinstalled or installed along with the, yes, reunited, and feels so good. So we reused his 7.3 injectors. We're going to go ahead and bolt everything back together on this one, and I'll get into the ThunderMax part of it here in just a few minutes.
And now for something completely different.
All right, we're going to pull the map out of this white 2020 today and see where we go with it. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the ThunderMax software here, and let's see what we find. Okay. So as usual, you want to get rid of anything that's on there. We're going to not do this. I've already done it. Okay. All right. So we want to go ahead and link. So it's reading from the bike. And it needs new firmware too. How about that?
How about that?
So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not going to bore you with this. So I'll go ahead and do this, and then I'll get back with you here in just a few minutes. It's finishing up right now, and we'll move forward. All right, firmware update has completed. Okay, so just to be safe, I'm going to turn the power off and wait for the link light to go out, and then turn the power back on. Then I'm going to reread the map, and I'm going to pretty much erase anything that this bike has learned over its lifetime. We're going to start over. We're going to keep the original map. At the top you can see the ZK OE 128-212-468_71. That map was provided to me by Dan at Zippers, so it's a good map. Read module, maps and settings, just to be sure. All right, let's go to clear learned fuel adjustments, and let's see what happens. Yes. Current displayed map have been reset. Okay, now just to be sure, let's go up here and look and see if there's been any adjustments made. No. Let's go to air. Okay. Yeah, that ain't what I want to do. Okay, so let me see if I can find this map. Let's just restart. Let's just reload the whole thing. So that's 128-212-468-71.
It's science.
And let's see if it's in here. Yep, it's this one right here. Let's open it. And let's write map editing. Let's write that. Yes. So we're going to literally start from scratch with the same map. Okay. Now let's kill the power on it 3 times. Wait for the green light to go out. Since it's a brand new map, we need to go through just like it's a brand new install. Okay, turn the power on. Wait for the green light. As I've explained in earlier videos, this isn't with the ThunderMax. You don't have to do this when you're getting on it to ride it. All we're doing here is waiting for a connection to the computer. That's all we're doing. It has nothing to do with cranking it and turning it on and cranking it and riding it. So don't get it confused. Okay, we got green. Let's turn it off. This will be our second cycle. Okay, turn it back on. We can go with that. That'll be our third cycle. All right, so what I want to do now is once that links up, I want to go in here and make sure there's been no leftovers from the other map. I don't think there will be, but let's go to here. Yeah, see, that's nice and fresh. All right, so let's make sure that we have basic settings 44,750. Let's go here, make that throttle progressivity 6. I like using 6. And let's rev limiters at 6,000. Let's leave that alone. All right. And let's go here. We're going to monitor it, and we're going to fire it up and see. Fire it up and do our first idle tune. So here goes. All right, what we're going to do here, I know the microphone situation is not good, guys. I need to spend some money on some microphones, but I haven't spent money on microphones, so bear with me on that. But what I'm doing now is I'm making sure that we have no intake manifold leaks If you look at the bottom row there, the AFR target, that's what ThunderMax wants to see. And the AFR front and rear, that's what's being provided. And that's what we want. Your closed loop correction is fine. So we're going to let this thing go and see if it stays pretty good with the base map. Do you remember when I showed you this map earlier, how it was tuning at the far extreme of its limits because of temperature? You don't see that now because this is a brand new map. So we're going to be doing some riding on this thing and make sure, and I'll show you the difference between a good sealed intake manifold and one that leaks, like basically is not even sealed at all, pretty much. So hang in there, I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, you can see it's making changes from the base map. That's not a problem. It's because the bike is an individual. But at least it's going along in a good continuous manner there. So it's just adjusting for, you know, the individual bike. This is not a bad situation. It's good. It's good, actually. Everything is within tolerance. If you look down around each of the gauges at the bottom, everything's sitting in the green. You can't ask for anything better than that. So right now everything is right where we want it to be. All right, we're still going along just fine. Remember, we go to 180 degrees and shut it off. That's the limit to the idle tune, temperature-wise. Once it gets past that, it's tuning in different areas, and it will show, but not during the idle tune. All right, we're approaching 180 degrees, and again, everything's going along just like I would expect it to. This is going to turn out really good. The AFR front and rear, as you see them dancing around, if it bounces out a little bit, that's not a problem. We want it to be in the green 95, 96, 97% of the time. Anything north of that is really, really good, but you rarely see it. Like right now where the AFR is bouncing out on the rear, it just crossed over a threshold of 180, so some of the parameters changed inside the ThunderMax, but if you sit here and watch it, it's going to crawl back over into the correct area. There you go. Okay, we're going to shut it down and wait for it to disconnect, then reconnect it and do an auto map. That means we're going to seal in, that's my terms, seal in what it's learned, and then we're going to let the bike cool back down to somewhere south of 80 degrees and do another idle tune. See if we can't get it really, really tightened up. All right, so we're going to go right here, map editing, auto map. Okay. All right, so the auto map has completed, and as you can see, the red now moved. The yellow is where it was, and the red is the new map. That's how we know what we got. So we're gonna let it cool down, and I'll be back with you in probably half an hour or so, but not for you. For you, it'll be like 0.2 seconds, but time-wise, it'll be about a half an hour.
One eternity later.
Okay, this is the second idle tune. Again, all of our gauges are right where they want to be. It did make some further changes here, from like 80 degrees to like 110, 115, and then it went back to normal. It's kind of fine-tuning here between 180 and like 130. So we're okay, we're doing good. And we'll go ahead and let this one finish out, and we'll do a third. After it cools down, we'll do a third. Okay, we've reached 180 degrees on the second idle tune. We're going to go ahead and shut this thing off. All right, we're going to wait for it to disconnect, and then we'll go ahead and do an auto tune. I'll go over what changes it's made here with you so you can see the little bit of adjustment that it made on the second auto tune. All right, so here's what we got. This is your temperature range, -40 to 401 degrees. So this is basically warm up. It was about 60 degrees here, I believe, when it cooled down. So in this area here, it made pretty good adjustments. Like I say, this is the individual bike, but down here it kind of went backwards a little bit, straightened itself out. So we're gonna go ahead and do an auto map and let it cool down and then do a third idle tune and see what happens. Okay, we've reached 180 degrees on this third run up, third idle tune. Let's go in here and see what we got going on. So still a little bit of adjustment down in low temperatures, and it's bringing things back to where they were a little bit, between like 120 and 180. All good. So we're gonna go ahead and auto tune this one, or excuse me, auto map it to save all this information it's learned. And we're gonna go test ride it and check for timing and things like that.